Welcome to the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong, and today we have another great guest. He's been helping a lot of individuals out there, especially realtors, become more successful, more impactful, and get more exposure as well. He has over 20 plus years of experience in a tech company creating websites for realtors and brokers all throughout Canada and the United States. He has also over 25 plus years of experience creating marketing classes and courses for realtors for them to embrace and implement AI and trends in technology for them to become more successful as well. He has a passion for assisting non-tech realtors to survive in the high-tech world and also creating courses like surviving their first 6 months as a realtor to make sure that those up-and-coming realtors get put on the right path to succeed. So please welcome founder and CEO of DPI Showcase Websites, marketing expert and author, Mr. Mark WEITHORN.
Great. Thank you for having me. That was wow. That sounds like I've done a lot. Thank you. Introduction.
Awesome. Well, you have accomplished a lot and you've become very, very successful and also taking that success and helping others become successful as well, which is something I very, very admire, especially for those who are trying to do something new. Because usually a lot of people who are becoming realtors are kind of sick and tired of what they're already doing and go, you know what, I need to make a change. And for you to come out and go, hey, here's the right path. This is how you embrace all this technology and AI to set them on the right path is very admirable and also something that's very, very important, I think, because I think lots of people are kind of jumping into it without really thinking. But before we jump into all that, share with us your journey. How did you become this person who's been helping a lot of realtors become successful?
Great. Thank you. So basically, I'm a marketing person. That's my background. I graduated from Fashion Institute of Technology with a degree in marketing and commercial photography. And I evolved through the years. I used to be a partner in an advertising agency where we did product development and then we also did retail advertising, where I wrote radio jingles and produced radio ads and television ads and remember newspaper? I used to produce newspaper ads. And then I evolved. I added a printing company, but I always knew that printing was going to be short term because technology would change. And then one day I was at a trade show for realtors and I ran into a young gentleman who said to me, I've got this web product for realtors. And do you want to join me? And I said, great. So he was the tech guy. I was the marketing person. We took his product, tore it apart, and put it back together over 6 months. And the rest is history. We've been creating websites for realtors and brokers across the United States and Canada.
How did you end up in a this realtor conference? Like for somebody like yourself, it's not the norm where, you know what, I'm just gonna go to this conference and see what happens.
So we had a company called Digital Printers International. That's where the DPI comes from. And we did short run printing, which means if you needed to print 1,000 postcards or things like that. And I kind of fell into doing postcards for realtors because at the time they were doing a lot of mailings. So I was in Atlanta at a one-day trade show for it was a tech show for the from the Atlanta Association of Realtors, and I had a booth, and yeah, that's how I ended up there.
It goes to show that when you put yourself into those scenarios where it's not common for your industry to be in, it makes you stand out as the expert and makes you stand out as the people to go to because you're the only ones there. And I tell a lot of my clients that, hey, if you want to stand out, go to like a lawyer's conference or a realtor's conference or this other conference and set yourself apart from everybody else that's already there talking about the same thing, which is very, very cool. So when it comes to what you do now, like it could be copied into a lot of different industries. Why stick with real estate and realtors?
Well, it's a very large market. There's over like 1.5 million realtors across just the United States as members of the National Association of Realtors. And it's a very organized industry. They have local associations, state associations, and of course the National Association. So it's very easy to market to them. As far as building the websites for them, we have specific tools just related for realtors. So I get people who call me all the time and say, "Hey, I'm in this industry. Can you do a website for me?" And I say to them, "Sorry, no, because you need specific tools." So what we've done over the last 21 years is created the different things that realtors need in order to succeed, get leads, follow up on leads, and make more money.
What are some of the things that you're doing that's different than what other marketing companies do for realtors? Because lots of realtors go out there and they find the first one that kind of pops up and goes, "Oh, okay, we'll pick you," kind of thing. What makes you so different than all the other ones, and why is it so successful?
Thank you. So first of all, there's price. Okay. We build websites for realtors with all these amazing things on it, videos and all these things, CRM, client management system for $69 a month, no setup fees and no contracts. And some of my competitors are charging $1,000 or some are charging like $500 a month and they give lousy service. So I get a lot of they got a lot of their clients. Then what we do from a technology standpoint is we automate as much as possible. We have a built-in CRM, client management system, and there are a lot of them out there, but the problem is they're hard to use. And realtors are not tech people. They like showing houses, they like talking to people. That's their forte. So, what we do is we automate as much as possible. So, for example, we automatically put a blog article on the realtor's website every day. And then we automatically post that on their Facebook and LinkedIn pages every day. And then we repurpose the previous week's blog articles and automatically send out an e-newsletter to all the people they have in their CRM every week. And that's all included in the same fee. Some other companies are charging hundreds of dollars for that. Our attitude is realtors are hardworking people, and you have to be really sensitive to that.
Very, very true. And when it comes to a commission-based kind of industry, sometimes cost is a really big differential point for them. When you work with realtors who's, let's say, been in the industry for a while, is there any common things that you have seen that they've done that are not effective or that they didn't know they were doing wrong? That you could jump in and go, okay, let's change this, change that. It's going to change your results and your lead generation and all that kind of stuff tenfold. Like anything that's very common that you've seen?
Sure, it's the simplest thing you will ever think of. It is answering your phone. Okay, I mean, I'm in sales. My phone rings, I go, I don't know that number, but I answer it. And if it's a solicitation, I just hang up. I don't even bother talking. Unless you're my brother-in-law. He's retired and he talks to those people. He thinks he's doing the world good because he's keeping them busy and occupied from annoying other people. But yeah, you get a lead. The rule is you have 15 minutes to reply to that lead. And they're there in front of their computer. You wait an hour, they could be working, they could be running, picking up the kids, running errands, cooking dinner. You lost them. So you really need to be responsive to your phone. That is the first thing. You can't be afraid to talk to new people.
And then when it comes to responding, there's this general consensus where, oh, if you respond with a chatbot or something that's not human, it kind of loses that approach. Is that true or false, or is any connection better than none?
Wow, you just you opened up a whole can of worms there about AI. I lectured about AI at the LA Tech Week a couple of years ago. So there's a misconception about AI. Some companies think that they can replace the human touch with AI. So, for example, I needed to contact one of my vendors. I needed something fixed, and they just wanted me to talk to a chatbot. And it took me 20 minutes, which is a lot of precious time in the middle of the day, till I finally got a real person on the phone. So you can't use these AI programs to replace the human touch. One of the biggest companies that has realized that is Google, Alphabet. They have great customer support. You can talk to someone. You can get someone on the phone. They chase you. I advertise with them. They chase me all the time in order to make sure my ads are working properly. They realize that you still need the human touch. So AI, Yeah, it has a place in humanity, but for those companies that think it can replace people talking to people, they're really making a mistake.
So since you've mentioned AI and how much of an impact it's going to have, what do you see in the as like in the realtor industry being replaced with AI or being enhanced with AI? Like lots of people are thinking that, oh yeah, the logo makers are done. Some of the marketing stuff, the copywriting stuff could be done completely by AI. What would you say is the next, like over the next year, 2 years, is the biggest turning point for AI to be implemented?
So there's three different types of AI. There's generative AI. So that is, let's say I want a picture of the president riding a horse. Okay. So it will give me a picture. Will it be a great picture? No, it's not there yet. The next thing is automation, which is what we embrace. We use a lot of AI technology for automation. And then there's machine learning. So, for example, what we do with AI is we have this new tool called leads.ai, where we use AI technology to see people who are online shopping for real estate. Now, you realize if someone is online shopping for real estate, they're looking to move, which means there's two sides of the equation. They want to sell their home and then buy a new one. So now we have the opportunity to get seller leads, which is really hard to get for realtors. So we're using AI technology to get these leads for the realtors. And then what we do is we use automation where we populate these leads into their built-in CRM and we start emailing them on a regular basis. And then we automatically generate emails to the realtors, reminding them to call them and follow up and follow up and follow up. So that's how we're using AI. We're not using AI to replace customer service because I think that is a huge mistake that the consumers are going to shy away from, and eventually the businesses will learn.
Is there is there a like because we mentioned chatbots before, and I know a lot of people are utilizing that just to get that connection. And I did ask about is any connection better than none?
Well, sure. I'll give you an example. Like I mentioned, Google. So they have a tool now where you put the magnifying glass. Let's say I want the vest that you're wearing. I say, that's a really cool vest. I want to buy that. So I can put the magnifying glass over your vest and it will tell me where to go purchase those. It'll give me some selections as to where to go purchase it, which is a great AI tool because at this point in time, I really don't need to talk to customer service. I
Mhm.
don't need to talk to a person. We've learned to shop online by ourselves without human interaction. That's appropriate. But if I have a problem and I need to talk to someone because there's an issue, then AI is just an interference.
When it comes to what you do with regards to marketing and helping people like realtors and brokers create websites, get more exposure, what are some of the most challenging things to you now when it comes to developing those services?
Thanks. So, being a 21-year-old tech company isn't easy. Staying relevant in tech for 21 years, it's a lot of work. For example, about 8 years ago, we redid our software from scratch. Technology changed. We needed to be more mobile friendly. And basically, we rewrote the software, and then that took about 9 months, and then we took about another 6 months to take all of our clients out of the old system and put them into the new system. So we're constantly adding new features. Now, when we add features, once again, what we ask is this user friendly and is this needed? And if it is, then we add it. If basically we feel that it is above the scope of the non-tech person, then we don't add it. I was in Vegas a couple of years ago. I spoke at a tech conference, and my topic was the KISS method. Keep IT systems simple. And I was in a room full of programmers, and I was saying to them, stop changing things. just when you get used to the interface, like GoDaddy is the worst one of all. I probably own 500 domains and I have to go into there and I always have to make changes to the DNS settings and other things. And they're constantly moving things around. And I'm like, stop. I don't have time to figure this out. There is no purpose for that. Well, naturally the programmers in the room were ready to throw like, rotten tomatoes at me because they weren't happy with what I was saying. But basically, they need to learn to keep technology simple.
Mhm. No, we know you're very, very good at helping those up and comer realtors get into the space and also become successful. And you wrote the course on how to survive those first 6 months because that's very integral in their continuing process. Could you give us some highlights as to what new realtors need to really focus on when they first start out?
Thanks. Yeah, the 6 month time is really critical because at that point in time, you have family support. They're like, sure, okay, that's a good industry.
Yes.
You can make some money there. And if 6 months later, if you're not making any money, then basically you lose the family support. So this is it's a book I wrote. It's on Amazon, but also it's a 3 hour class. And the first hour of the class, I teach them how to write a business plan because this is a serious business. And then I teach them how to make the transition from being an employee, where you're given tasks to do every day, to being a salesperson, an entrepreneur. You have to get up in the morning. You have to be ready for work by 9 o'clock. You have to know what you're doing every day because no one's going to tell you what to do. And I always make the joke. I say, if you find yourself sitting around in your pajamas and your bunny slippers at 11 in the morning, the day is shot. So you need to really be self-motivated and be willing to have to chart a course as to how you're going to get leads and then how you're going to service these people.
Now, you mentioned a couple moments ago how technology grows very fast and how you had to redo everything like 8 months ago, and technology's not going to stop. So, how does one like yourself keep up to date with things that are changing so many times, and especially with AI now just exponentially growing? And then also, how does a person who's just starting out, like those people who are trying to survive for 6 months, how do they keep in touch and keep up to date with regards to all the technology and all the AI that's coming in?
Sure. So I have a team of programmers. They're located in India. They're subcontracted out from a large company there. I've been with them for almost a decade, and we're constantly changing and reinventing what we do.
Mm.
Once again, the whole premise is that it has to be user friendly or have automation. So, for example, about a year ago, we changed how you do a property search on our system, and it made it more user friendly. We're in the middle of redoing our whole client management system, CRM, and we're looking to launch that by the end of the year. And basically, it's going to be seamless for our users, but it's going to give them more interface and more statistics and then more tools if they want to use it. As far as someone entering the business, the first thing you have to look at is your product relevant? Do you have enough market share? I go to these conferences and they have these like tech challenges where it's like Shark Tank type thing, where they have a table with like three or four judges on the stage, and then one person at a time gets up there and they get like 5 minutes to discuss their product, and then they get questions, and then they have a winner as to which is the best product. And I look at some of these products and I'm going, what were they thinking? Because they have one little fringe of one little segment of the whole marketplace that might fill a need. And I'm like, no, that's too small. So it gets down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you look at it from people, and survival and all that, on the bottom, it's food, and then it goes up to shelter and things like that. So when we're doing websites, when it comes to sales on the bottom rung, which is the widest, it's a triangle, and the widest part on the bottom, as a salesperson, you need business cards, you need websites, you need things like that. So we're basically filling a broad need. So the first thing you have to do is make sure your product is good. The second thing you do need is financing. And, some people go after venture capital money. DPI is 100% bootstrap, no VC money, no PE firms, no one to answer to. So you can turn to your family to ask your family for assistance. You can work out of a garage. Google was started out of a garage by two gentlemen. Apple Computers, Steve Jobs started out of a garage. And you need to make sure that you're doing it on the cheap and you're getting a product that you think mass people are going to like. And then if you find that your product is not good, it happens. I mean, Thomas Edison went through 100 light bulbs before he came up with the one that worked. Start over, start over, start over until you find something that works. I come up with different ideas and concepts that I think are going to work, and some of them do, and some of them I go, oh, well, that didn't work. And you put it on the shelf and you move on and you don't look back.
There is that saying where if you go niche, then you'll be fine. You have to find that specific marketplace. And what you're saying now is like if you're too niche, then it's too small of a marketplace. What's that defining line, or how do you determine what is too niche for you to, okay, let's kind of broaden out a little bit.
So, for example, there are some people in the tech world who have add-on products to the websites that I do. And basically, that is too niche
Mhm.
because, money is scarce. Realtors are hardworking people. They don't have a lot of money to spend. So basically, if I see some other tool or something that I think is a good add-on for a baseline product, which I have, I'll go and add it. And typically, I don't charge more for it because, the programming is easy. We create things all the time.
Mhm.
So you have to really look at what is your market share and who do you think is going to buy it?
Mhm. Is there a case study that you could share with us? One of the stories that from before and after implementing your coaching and implementing your teachings and implementing your services that got them to like superstardom.
You know, over the years, I've taught about 40,000 students, mostly at the Miami Association of Realtors.
Mhm.
And I get students who come back to me 6 months later, a year later, and they thank me because basically they did what I said, which is roll up your sleeves and work hard. And what I do is I teach how-to classes. And basically I teach them you do this, this, and this, and it's going to yield leads. It's going to yield results. So those people who do it, who are not afraid of working hard, they succeed. And then when they come back to me, it's a great feeling because I know I did my part to help them.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned leads again. Are there certain things that a person needs to keep in mind when trying to generate leads? For instance, is there certain sayings or are certain ways, strategies that people can implement into their businesses so that they can generate more leads aside from the automation stuff? Because you have to put in the input for automations to work. So, what are some of those inputs, some of those, the mindset that you need to go into in order for you to generate more leads?
So the first thing you have to be immune to is rejection. The rule in sales is 1 in 10. For every 10 people you talk to, one is going to be a good lead. So, for example, my leads.ai program, some people are getting 30 leads a month. And I say to them, you need to talk to these people. So you're looking at 30 leads a month. You're looking at, let's say, three potential, good, solid leads that you could close, that you can turn into business. But you have to talk to 27 other people that are going to hang up the phone on you, that are going to yell at you. They're going to call you stupid, whatever. So you can't take rejection personal. And then you have to put in the time. It's as simple as that. If you don't put in the time, then basically you're not going to succeed.
When it comes to entrepreneurship, especially in the real estate world, that rejection thing is so big. And a lot of people are very afraid of hearing those no's. Hence, it even stops them in their tracks to even picking up the phone or approaching a prospective client. What would you say is one of the best ways to train yourself to kind of take those with less emotion?
Sure. So you could train yourself, but you also have to train the people around you. For example, anytime I come up with a new concept or a new product that I want to develop, I get really excited about it. And I tell my family about it. I tell my wife, I tell my kids and all that. And then if that product didn't work, they know not to say to me, "Oh, we knew that wouldn't work." Okay? They know that because that really hurts if your family or your friends around you don't give you the support you need, the emotional support to succeed. Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things that are not going to work. You're going to face rejection. You're going to face roadblocks. And basically, you need people around you to be supportive. If you have that, then you'll have the freedom to succeed.
Now, there's also a lot of people out there who are so excited about sharing certain things, certain ideas with family members and close friends. And because they, whether they know better or not, they're afraid of these risks that this potential person is taking. So therefore they go, okay, don't do that, it's too risky, or oh, it's not gonna work. Just don't even attempt it. And they're doing it out of love because they're trying to protect them, but they may or may not know if in fact it is the right way. So for you, like, what's that line for you go and share this information, share the your ideas with people, and then if those people say, "Hey, go for it," or "Don't go for it," how do you determine whose feedback is going to be very important to you?
So, being an entrepreneur, it's kind of like it's trailblazing. We love hiking. We've been hiking. I have two boys. We've been taking hiking for years. And you follow the path, and there, the blue blaze on the tree, every 10th tree has another blue marker on it, and you follow that, and everyone does that. But what if you have to create your own path? What if there is no path? And that's entrepreneurship. You're creating the path yourself, and that is really hard to do. One of the other things is the biggest thing to worry about is regret. I should have. Oh, 20 years ago, I should have whatever. Okay. And you don't want to face regret because that will haunt you for the rest of your life. So if you're willing to work hard, do it. Just go for it. And just you do need family support behind you because that's extremely critical.
Now, for somebody like yourself who's been helping so many people out there, especially realtors and brokers, get more exposure, make more impact, what are you looking for now? Like, is there a specific type of uh, entrepreneur or a specific type of realtor, personality-wise, characteristic-wise, brokerage-wise, that you know for a fact that you can make the biggest impact on?
So there's a new trend going on. It used to be where there were only a handful of brokers in the business. The hierarchy is you have the company owner, which is the broker, and then you have realtors working under them. And then it became really easy to become a broker. You take a course, you take a test, and Shazam, you're a broker. So there are a lot more independent brokers out there. Some of them are broker owners and they have no agents working under them because they're experienced, they have their book of business, and they don't need to be part of some company to tell them how to do their own business. And then there's other brokers who have small and medium-sized agencies with like less than 20 realtors underneath them. Those are the people that I go after. That's the niche that I go after. because it's stable. They know what they're doing. They're in business for decades, and they like what they do. There's a big news this week was that Compass Realty is purchasing Anywhere, which is this huge conglomeration Anywhere, which owns a like two or three big names in the real estate industry. And Compass has been growing and growing and growing. They've been gobbling up these medium-sized brokerages all over the country, and now they're buying Anywhere, and it's going to be a big behemoth. And these, from what I hear through the trade pubs and stuff, is these independent brokers are going, that's fine, no problem. You want service, you want friendship, you want someone that's going to help you, that's going to be with you forever. I'm still here. So that's a good, stable part of the marketplace. I mean, if you look in the US, for example, most of the businesses are privately owned, small, medium-sized businesses. That's the backbone of our country.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the real estate industry.
What would you say is the biggest challenge for these people to get noticed? Like you're going up some of the biggest brands out there when it comes to real estate, real brokerages and all that kind of stuff, who has the funding to back whatever they need to back. And for these more independent ones and smaller companies who's asking for your services to go, hey, I need to compete with that. What would you say to them? And then what are some of the strategies that you help them with to get more exposure?
Yeah, thank you. So especially a lot of the new realtors are all scared because,
Mm,
there's always the big realtor in the neighborhood. How do I compete with them? It's the one who has their face all over the bus benches, okay? And I said, well, it's easy. Because what happens is, let's say you want to sell your home and you go, oh, let me call that guy who's on that bus bench, and you call them up and they come over, they give you a fancy presentation and you sign up with them, and then you call up and you end up not talking to them anymore. You end up talking to their assistant.
mm,
It gets down to personal relationships. You are there for people. They trust you. This is the most expensive transaction they're going to do in their lives, which is to buy or sell a home. And they know that you're there watching their back. And it doesn't matter if you're big or small, or you work out of a garage, okay? They are going to trust you, and then they're going to refer people to you. So it gets down to relationships. One of the best books I read, I was 10 years old when I read it, was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
mm.
This was written in the 1930s. It's the number two best read book in the nation. The number one best read book is the Bible, okay? And it teaches you how to talk to people, how to make friends. Before you start talking business, make a friend, ask them about themselves. Now they'll work with you and they'll like you.
Well, you shared a lot of insights as to how to become a better realtor. Also, lots of insights that also applies to entrepreneurship as a whole as well. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Let's say it's your mic drop moment. You have a couple of minutes to really get people to remember you for. What would that be?
Well, thank you. So we are DPI Showcase. You can see us at dpishowcase.com. And if you're in the real estate industry, we're here to help you. We can set up great websites for you and great client management systems, CRMs, and a lot of other tools, and then give you the customer support that you need to make sure that you succeed as a realtor or a broker.
Mm, awesome. Well, thank you very much for that. Now, before I let you go, I got five quick rapid fire questions for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. All right. You're stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Pizza.
You are actually involved with the circus. Which which event or which role would you like to be?
So there was the three motorcycle guys who were in that cage that are going around in circles. That's the one.
Awesome. You're on a road trip and you're driving for hours and hours on end. There's only one song that you could play. What's that one song that you won't get sick of?
Rambling Man by the Allman Brothers.
Very, very nice. Olympics. Which event would you like to win the gold medal for, whether it's winter or summer? Doesn't matter.
Downhill skiing.
Nice choice. And then finally, give me a number from 1 to 4.
3.
1, 2, 3. So the word is fire logs. If you have to use fire logs as a metaphor for success, how is success like fire logs?
So it's really difficult. I've done a lot of camping, and it's really difficult to light a fire. To get some wood together and to light a fire. It really is hard. And you'll have to mess with it 4, 5, 6, 7 times until you get a nice fire. And then once that fire gets going, you have to tend to it
Mhm.
constantly. You have to put more wood. You have to move the wood around. You have to make sure there's airflow. So being in business is the same way. You have to tend to your business 24/7. It's kind of like a child that never grows up. And it's the same thing. You have to tend to your fire when you make a campfire or something, and you have to tend to your business.
Nicely done. I love where you were going with that. So that's how success is like fire logs. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, check out your services, and also get your book?
Great, thank you. DPIshowcase.com. That's our website. It has all about us. On there is a page called classes. So if you ever want to attend any of my classes on Zoom, there's no charge for it. And then there's also a link to my YouTube channel, which has recordings of my classes and dozens of training videos.
Awesome. So anybody out there who's looking for expanding your real estate portfolio or getting more clients, being able to reach out more and get more exposure, reach out to Mark here. Also, any final words from you?
Sure. The real estate market is constantly changing. One day it's a seller's market, the next day it's a buyer's market. Don't be afraid. The only constant is change, and you have to adapt to it.
Mhm. Well, now that you say that, what is the best way for people to accept change and be comfortable with it?
It's hard. It's really hard. For example, I teach realtors in one of my other classes called Farming for Listings, which is getting listings. And I say you could be working a neighborhood, and then all of a sudden that neighborhood dries up for whatever reason. They run out of inventory or something. You have to go to another neighborhood. And don't be afraid. Just do your research and, get in your car and drive. Things change and you have to change with it. And the minute you stop changing is the minute you stagnate.
Very well said. Well, thank you very much for that. So everybody make sure, again, connect with Mark if you want to go pursue the real estate and realtor journey. And also if you want to expand your portfolios and become more successful, reach out to Mark as well. He'll be able to help you out with automation and websites and all that kind of stuff. So once again, thank you very much. And for everybody else, he's Mark. I'm Fong. Until next time. Today is the day to lock your P potential. We'll see you later.